My name is Meryl. I live in Stratford, Ontario, and here's my story. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and I was 16 when my family and I moved here. I think my parents decided to move to Canada for better opportunities. They wanted me and my younger sister to have a better chance at setting up a career for ourselves and setting up like a stable and, happy life. I was going into my last year of high school in the Philippines, and I had to literally leave that all behind. I had this vision of I'm graduating with my friends, like college together with some of my friends, and not losing touch because that was my fear. They told us, and as we were waiting for the approvals and the confirmations and waiting for a visa, I started feeling this, wow, this is so unfair. This is such a big life decision. But I didn't entertain that feeling of anger or frustration because I was like, well, I have to be grateful. They're doing this for our family. They're doing this for us. One of the other biggest things that we had to adjust to was the weather and snow. When we first saw snow, I was so excited. I'd never seen it in real life. Just being like, yo, to my friends back in the Philippines, this is snow. Like, look how like it's fluffy. It's like super cool. It melts in your hand, whatever. But I think after a week or two of like full on snow, and Stratford gets a lot of snow, right? I was just kind of like, when is this over? This is going on for too long, and can we just have it for Christmas and then be done with it? When I moved here, I did high school still. I was like halfway through grade 11 when I started high school here. I remember just telling myself like, yo, just try to blend in. I was lucky because there was one other Filipino girl in high school that was the same grade as me. We're the same age. And even though she was born and raised here, it was still kind of nice to have someone that grew up in a Filipino household, so she understood like the language already. She understood what's it like, or like bringing Filipino lunch to school. It wasn't as weird. I remember just kind of sticking by her side almost all the time. Even though I was fluent in English, one of the things that I did not expect at all or caught me off guard were like the slangs and like the common phrases here that people would just say every day. Some of those is, how's it going? It was in high school. One day I was walking with my friend and we were walking in the hallway and someone was walking past us in the opposite direction. And this person was looking at me saying, hi, hey, how's it going? And I remember thinking like, I panicked almost because I turned to my friend and was like, what is she asking? What's it? What's going? How do I answer this? Why is she asking me? What does this mean? And then my friend just kind of like casually goes, oh, it's just how people ask, how are you? And you just say good. And it was just this like almost weird experience of someone keeping on walking, but asking me and looking at me and asking me this question that I've never heard before, so I didn't know how to answer. So now I just say good. And then if they ask you back, you just say good, apparently. So after high school, I applied to go to university for dramatic arts. I don't think I would have been able to do that had we been living in the Philippines still, because definitely, not that my parents would have told me what to go for, but it would have been something that was more practical. There's this like stereotype in the Philippines where, oh, you're Filipino, your parents are going to tell you to be a nurse. Your uncle is a nurse, your cousin is a nurse, you should be a nurse. I remember Stratford and finding out about Stratford Festival, being able to have seen a couple of shows when I was in high school. I was like, wow, that's super cool. And when my mom found out that I was applying for theater school, she was like, perfect, you can come back to Stratford and be up there too. But I think a combination of going through the program and looking at the curriculum that we had, like all the shows that we were reading and seeing, I just didn't find anything that I absolutely related to or felt like it was capturing my story as an individual. And so that's why my passion kind of went into more specifically creating original work. One thing particularly that I'm proud of is during the first lockdown, I came across this program called Empathy Squad, and we got trained to do a podcast essentially. So do all the interviews. We get to choose what community to focus on. And I chose the Filipino community in Stratford because it was a way for me to get to know them again and to kind of, wow, I'm getting emotional. Sorry, just give me one moment. Yes, it was a way for me to kind of get to know them again and personally to like kind of dig roots almost, because I felt like I haven't done that quite yet. And so yeah, I interviewed a bunch of, I think the point of the program was to reach out to people you don't know already. But heck, I reached out to people who were my friends growing up here in Stratford, parents of the people that I knew, and just asked them questions that I would not normally ask them, just seeing them in the grocery store or seeing them at a Christmas party for the Filipino community. And yeah, that made me feel like I definitely have a community here while I look elsewhere. And that was kind of something that I was able to give back to them to show kind of my appreciation of even though I didn't have many people that were my age when I just moved here, there's definitely still a community to fall back on. It just took me a while to get that. Now that I'm back in Stratford, and not all the Filipinos are my family, that is a myth, but that they're found family, and I feel very much like, yes, this is a good place to start digging those roots. And even though I end up elsewhere at some point in my life in the future, I feel like this is a place I can always come back to because of those connections.